Did you know that one of the youngest women ever put on death row buried her victims alive? Tiffany Cole grew up in Charleston in a very abusive, unstable childhood. Her mother was just awful. Her stepdad was a very violent, abusive man. One time he even threw a puppy at the wall and broke its neck. When Tiffany was 16, her biological dad began to SA her. When she told her mom and her mom did not believe her, Tiffany ran away, only to return and move back in with her dad when he was diagnosed with terminal cancer, so she could be her dad's full-time caregiver. During this time, Tiffany got super close to the couple that lived next to her dad, and they were Carol and James Reggie Sumner. Carol and Reggie were a great couple. It was both of their second marriage. The couple actually dated back in high school but broke up when they were 16. Carol's first husband was a truly awful, abusive, violent man. One day he actually tried to kill Carol. He shot Carol multiple times before turning the weapon on himself. Miraculously, Carol survived, but in the hospital she was given a blood transfusion which gave her hepatitis C, which later resulted in cancer. And after all of these terrible things happened to Carol, she was just trying to recover and rebuild her life. She gets a new job at a call center for a cable network, and one day her ex-boyfriend from high school, Reggie Sumner, calls the call center, and that's how Carol and Reggie reconnected 40 years after high school. They were both in their 50s now, and they got married. And that's also how they became neighbors to Tiffany and Tiffany's dad, and they just felt so bad for Tiffany, this young girl who was putting off her life to take care of her sick dad, and they became almost like adoptive parents to Tiffany, and they would do anything they could do to help her. And when Carol and Reggie eventually moved to Jacksonville, Florida, they told Tiffany that she was welcome to stay with them anytime. In May of 2005, Tiffany meets and starts casually dating a guy named Michael Jackson, but no, obviously not that Michael Jackson. Tiffany and Michael Jackson plan a trip to visit a friend of theirs that lives in Jacksonville, Florida, and of course, while they're there, they stay with Carol and Reggie Sumner. And they're just so excited to see Tiffany. They open their doors to her and Michael. And sometime during the trip, either Carol or Reggie mentions to Tiffany and Michael that when they sold their house in Charleston, they made a profit of over $100,000. So after the trip, Tiffany and Michael Jackson began planning how to rob Carol and Reggie Sumner, the two people who had just welcomed them into their home. For weeks, they planned how to rob the Sumners, and eventually those plans escalated to robbing and killing Carol and Reggie Sumner with no explanation why, just completely terrible and senseless. They also recruited two friends, Alan Wade and Bruce Nixon. Multiple times they made the trip from Charleston to Jacksonville, Florida, just so they could find like the quickest route, I guess. And one of those times they pre-dug a grave in an isolated wooded area in Georgia. On July 8th, 2005, they all drove